Welcome to Bharat Army TV in my living room today, and I'm not Tommy Sandhu. My name's Akshay. I'm joined by Abhishek and Amish. Today we're going to discuss everything West Indies v India. Guys, to start with, I wanted a brief sort of summary on your thoughts. First of all, on the T20. Good series?
Good series. It's West Indies. Pretty much expected. It's good to see the youth come through. We gave quite a few youngsters a chance and they took their opportunity. Different squad, different faces. But it's good to see that we've got a bunch of talent coming through. I guess IPL supports this format the most, and it's a good chance for our players to be exposed on the international scene.
Yeah, like Amish was saying, I think we've got an advantage over a lot of other sides in terms of our strength and depth in T20s. We've obviously got a lot of youngsters coming through, and it was good to see some of them finally get a chance against the West Indies. And it's probably a good time to blood them in because, you know, maybe putting them in against England or Australia is going to be quite a tough experience for them. But you know, the pitches in West Indies are not dissimilar to the subcontinental pitches in terms of you know, they're very batting friendly and spin friendly. So I think it's a good time to put them in.
Yeah, you know, personally I thought we did brilliantly. I was a bit worried going into the series. Defending champions, West Indies in the T20 World Cup. They're a good T20 side.
Yeah,
but I thought we handled it really well. It was quite an easy series in a way. So do you think this will be the strategy going forward? That similar to 07, you've got a young team, a different team in T20 than it is in ODI. The likes of Saini and Khalil Ahmed and Rahul Chahar and Deepak Chahar, instead of your Bhuvneshwar Kumars and your Mohammad Shamis and your Kuldeep Yadavs.
Well, yeah, I mean, I don't think it's going to be a complete difference in terms of, you know, the two sides, but I do think you know, we're going to see some young talent put into the T20 fold in the lead up to the T20 World Cup. Like you said, the likes of the Chahar cousins, Nitin Saini, especially on the bowling side, because I think what the strategy will be is to sort of rest you know, the test bowlers, you know, the likes of Shami and Bhuvi a little bit more, and play them a bit more sparingly in the T20 format. Give these youngsters a chance and you know, see what they can do. I think on the batting side we might see something more similarly aligned to what we've got in the ODIs, but I don't think that's a bad thing.
You know, I probably wasn't a fan of having a different squad for different formats back in the day, but now I think with the emphasis on 2020s, IPLs and so forth, like, it's just such a different extreme format to test that you can't use the same players whether you want to or not. It's such a different game, and therefore it probably makes sense for us to have different setups. The only worry is, right now you've got some consistency, or a core such as Kohli and co, whereas when times change, it's going to be a totally different team with each format having a different face. Like, there's not going to be any consistency, which I don't know if I'm the biggest fan of. Like, we need some core, some consistency throughout, as opposed to having a different setup.
Okay, and being Test cricket purists here, and the T20 World Cup coming next, are you guys going to take more of an interest in T20 than you have before, or is it still sort of second fiddle to your Tests and ODIs?
I think for us, Test is obviously, you know, the ultimate, and obviously just having come off the back of a 50-over World Cup, the T20s at the moment do seem like a little bit of a backseat refresher. But I think once it comes to the lead up to the T20 World Cup, we're obviously going to take just as much of an interest. You know, when it comes to major tournaments, I think the focus will be sort of right back on the Indian team.
Okay, so that's the T20s out of the way. Moving on to the ODIs, obviously first one was a washout, and then India won the next two after that. Really impressed with the last ODI, particularly 35 overs, rain affected, chasing, you know, 240 odd, whatever it was, Virat Kohli and Shreyas Iyer. So first of all, Shreyas Iyer is who I want to talk about. We know he's a mature player, captain of the Delhi Capitals, brought into the India side, and two very, very good knocks.
Very good knocks.
Thoughts?
Yeah, I've been really, really impressed with Shreyas Iyer. Obviously, he had a little bit of a go given to him pre-World Cup.
Yeah.
You know, we gave quite a few batsmen a go at that number 4 spot and really couldn't find anyone to lock it down. But he's really impressed me. I think he's someone who bats with a lot of maturity beyond his years. Like you mentioned, captaining, the Delhi team in the IPL, I think has stood him in very good stead. And he's a player that plays to the situation. He can play shots, and we've seen he's capable of really taking the attack to the opposition. But he can also really dig in, and he's shown he can rein it back when the situation needs. And that's, I think, what our number 4 will need to do. They need to be very, very flexible depending on the situation. If our openers are going to be, getting out cheaply, they need to come in and probably be back with Kohli and sort of look to build an innings properly, which he can do.
That's exactly what he did. He did it really well.
Absolutely. So yeah, I've been really, really impressed with him. I think he'll be given a run now, and it's only fair he's probably given a run at number 4. I know he was coming in at number 5.
Yeah.
But I think he's got the game, and he deserves a shot.
What I was most impressed about in that innings was obviously new player to the side, very nervous, huge target to chase. You've got a guy on the other end, Virat Kohli, who's in. Mm-hmm. Normally, you come in and play yourself in. Virat Kohli's an experienced player. He can go after it. What he did is he came in and he took the attack to the West Indies bowlers.
Kohli said he took the pressure off him.
Yeah.
That's how well he
like no man's business.
You know what? Forget the runs he scored. I think the fact that he gave our middle order some partnerships, and that's a big thing we've been missing over the last couple of years. As well as taking the pressure off Kohli, now it's good to have some hope on someone in the middle order who can come in and who we can back to get some runs, as opposed to relying on our top 3. Despite how amazing and consistent they've been over the last few years, it's been a hole. Hopefully you can continue, man. Hopefully you can continue building on.
So I think it's very clear that we all agree. Ayo, give him a run of games, give him a chance. He's one for the future. But talking about giving people a run of games, Rishabh Pant. He's been in the side for a short while now. He got drawn into the World Cup as well as a replacement for the Indian Shikhar Dhawan.
Yeah.
And people generally have mixed opinions about him. I know we have lots of debates on the Bharat Army forum daily, especially during the cricket, about Rishabh Pant. So first of all, what are your opinions of Rishabh Pant in an ODI setting?
Alright, so Rishabh Pant in the ODI setting, right? He's clearly got talent. He's clearly got some form of X factor. However, is he capitalising on this talent? Is he making use of it? Is he developing in the right way we expect him to develop? His average doesn't reflect his potential talent. I think his average is about 22. He's thrown his wicket away a number of times. I'm sure behind the scenes he's getting he's getting some guidance, a good talking to from Kohli and co, the coaching staff. But he's not showing it.
How do you know he's getting it? No. Because it's the same thing over and over again. From my perspective,
right. I get that.
It looks like he's making a mistake and nothing's changing.
So do you really think Kohli's going to sit there and be like, "Chal, one, keep going, son"?
Maybe. I don't know what's happening, but he's obviously not learning from his mistakes, which is what I'm saying.
And how do you feel about the point of he's still young?
He's 22, yeah. That's not young.
Alright, so
we were all in the workplace when we were 22. He's in his workplace as well.
I'm on the same page with club cricket, 16-year-old, someone comes in, plays a stupid shot. Regardless if they're 16, 25, 30, they're still going to get a bollocking or some form of disappointment. Hence, I'm sure some of the coaching staff, the senior players in the team, are giving him a few words of wisdom, trying to improve his rational thought process. Maybe, he's just not showing up.
Ultimately, the responsibility lies with the player itself. When you're in the middle, you decide what shots to play. Abs, what's your thoughts on Rishabh Pant?
I mean, like you said, he definitely divides opinion, and I think I would agree with Amish when he touched on, he's obviously a very talented player. We've seen what he's capable of, in the mould of a Sehwag type batsman. He will just, his strengths are to go out there, bat on ball, and look for boundaries. But I think what's frustrating as a fan watching him is the value he seems like he's not placing enough value on his wicket. He's just throwing his wicket too easily, too often in the same manner. And like you said, he's got to learn if he wants to hold down a place in the side permanently. And he's got to be a bit more situational with his play, like we touched on before about Shreyas Iyer. Back to the situation. And there's times where I'm sure the guys will be like, okay, you know what, today go out there and just go for it. You've got a free roll basically. If you come off, you come off. Great, but you can't play like that in every single game. And he's got to learn to bat to the situation and place more value on his wicket. I think if with certain batsmen in the team, you see that they're very capable of digging in when we're in trouble. And look what happened in the World Cup semi-final. Got out holding out in the deep.
But then again, he did have quite a few partnerships which we were missing in the middle order. So you could say he got brought in, and he didn't do a bad job, to be fair, without much practice beforehand.
Is that enough? Is that good enough?
Okay,
for India's number 4?
I'm not saying a number 4. I'm just saying for a middle order which wasn't firing, he didn't do a bad job. Like, we're disappointed. We're disappointed because he has talent and he's not using it. We're not saying he doesn't have the quality or ability. It's more about, is he taking his game seriously enough?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think if he bats like this, he's got to come off more than he's coming off at the moment.
Correct.
Yeah.
I think it was an issue in the IPL as well for Delhi Capitals, is that he started off a chase really, really well, but could not see it through, could not get them over the line. Which seems to be a similar thing. Obviously, lots of reaction about his one-handed first ball golden duck against West Indies, but the counter argument to it is that he's got a pretty decent Test record. He scored Test 100 in England.
Really
he's had a good start to his Test career, so surely that shows some sort of ability to bat long and bat deep and mental capacity to have a long innings.
Yeah, we touched on it before. His ability is definitely there, but in the short format anyway, we've not played as much Test cricket sort of in the last 6 months. We're going to be playing a lot in the next 6 months, so we'll see how he comes on. And obviously he's gonna get a chance in the team. It looks like, but I think number 4, what we can all agree on, is much too high up for him to bat.
Yeah.
Fine, let's see what happens. For you now, Rishabh Pant keeps his place for the next ODI series?
I would say yes.
Well, it depends. Let's see what our Master
Yes or
Dhoni
no?
does.
Yes
Let's
or
see
no?
what our Master Dhoni does. But I wouldn't drop him right now. I'm backing the team to be giving him some good
Fine.
advice.
Yeah.
For
I
me-
think when Dhoni comes back, I think then there's a big question mark over his place.
So
Without
Dhoni or Pant?
Oh.
Dhoni or Pant?
Well,
that's a tough one.
It depends if you're looking to the future or to the present. For me, it's about time we look to the future.
Yeah.
So you're saying stick with Pant?
I never said bunt, I said look to the future. Could be other batsman keepers.
So who you think
For me, people say he needs time, he needs to learn his trade. I think you learn your trade playing for India A, playing for your state team. You don't playing for India. If you're not ready to play for India, you learn somewhere else, get ready to play for India, and then you join the national team.
We say
This
he
isn't
needs
a
to
trade
learn
account.
and stuff like that. How he's getting out of the criticism we're having of him is not about him learning, it's about that decision making. We're not questioning his ability or his development.
It's him learning to play the right shots, learning to manage the game situation.
Yeah, learning to manage that game situation it's a strange one, man, because when you're playing at that level, how can you be making these repetitive mistakes?
You wouldn't know because you never play at that level. Anyway, moving on. Very, very briefly, opening partnerships. So, still sticking with the Shikhar Rohit opening partnership. Do you think that's the right way to go, considering in an ODI setting, the next World Cup's 4 years away? Will Shikhar still be there? Is Rohit still this right guy? Look to the future, maybe Shaw instead of Shikhar. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think when this ban is over and done with, I think Shaw's got to be put in the team straight away.
Yeah.
He's quite obviously the future of Indian cricket, and he's got to be opening the innings. So obviously that does leave a question mark over Shikhar Dhawan, because I think Rohit Sharma's form in the last 12 months in ODI cricket's been outstanding.
Yeah.
So although the next World Cup is 4 years away, I think Rohit's place at the top is completely secure for now.
Yeah.
I'd give Shaw a chance at the top of the order. He's exciting, young talent. We're going to have to give him as much time as possible for the next World Cup. And because of that, I think Shikhar Dhawan's time is probably going to be limited. But until Shaw comes back, I wouldn't break up that opening partnership.
Okay. And you want Shaw in the team.
Yeah.
You think he's a mainstay for a while.
Definitely.
What about Shubman Gill? Does he not deserve a chance in the team? Wasn't looked at for this West Indies series. He came out, said he was disappointed. Why wasn't he picked?
I'm not sure. There's a few question marks of the rationale behind that. I think Prithvi Shaw's probably got an advantage that we've got faith in him as an opener, and therefore his spot might be a bit more comfortable. I have no clue why Shubman Gill wasn't given a chance.
Yeah, I think it's a matter of time, to be honest. everyone knows how much of a special talent he is. I'd put him up there with Shaw in terms of his potential and the impact he could have on the side. It's just going to be a matter of time. Within the next couple of series, he'll be in there. And again, he's someone who deserves a very long run of games. He's been scoring bucket loads of runs for India A. Domestically, he's shown, like you said, he's
proven the right stages.
Yeah, he's done well. For India under 19s, he's done fantastic as well. I'm really looking forward to seeing him. I think he could be a really big player for us in the next few years. And it's a matter of time. He'll be in that middle order with Shreyas Iyer for me.
So what about you? What do you think the top three should be? Do you think Dhawan should stay?
Well, for me, I'm always one for bringing the youngsters in, especially at the right time. And usually as the World Cup campaign ends, you start to build for the next one. So for me, as soon as Prithvi Shaw's ban is lifted and he's fit enough to play, he's in the side.
What about the value of Dhawan and Rohit's opening partnerships? Because we can't bank on someone else to come in and have that relationship.
The Dhawan and Rohit's opening partnerships, you still play them when they're 50 years old. There's a limit, of age when it comes to cricket as well.
Yep.
They've served us well, but they're getting on. Rohit, as he said, is the main guy and will continue to be the main guy. But there's an opportunity for someone else to step in now. You can't stick with people forever and ever and ever. You've got to move on, Amish.
It's hard, man. It's hard. There's a few soft spots, but guys, I just wanted to put it out there. Rohit Sharma, the last 12 months, in the last 4 years, the last 12 months were his worst year in terms of performance. His average was the lowest. I think it was about 50 odd in the last 3-4 years before that, about 60, 70 odd. Like, how incredible is that? Everyone's talking about how much of a fantastic World Cup he's had. But in the last 4 years, he's been so consistent.
Okay, that's enough of the limited over stuff. On to current, upcoming series. India v West Indies. The first series in the World Test Championship for India. Obviously, you've got the ongoing Ashes series. You've got, I think, New Zealand and Sri Lanka series happening right now as well. But first one for India. So for those at home who don't understand the ins and outs of the World Test Championship, very briefly, 9 of the 12 Test-playing nations will compete over the period of 2 years. Each nation will play 3 home series, 3 away series, and each series constitutes 120 points. Now, those points are divided per match depending on the number of matches in the series. So, for example, a 2-match series, each match will be worth 60 points. A 5-match series, each match will be worth 24 points. So we've got a 2-match series against West Indies. Each of those will be worth 60 points. So a lot up for grabs. We want to walk away with 120 points. Get to the top of the leaderboard as quick as we can and stay there. Because ultimately the prize is a final at Lords in 2021. And what a occasion that will be at the home of cricket. Certainly, I know us three will be there if India are making it to the final. But talking about the Test squad, first and foremost, it seems like ages ago since we last played a Test series or a Test match. What are your thoughts, first and foremost, about some of the key players that India will have in this series? I know there'll be some controversial selections as well, which we'll discuss.
Yeah.
But who are your 100%ers that walk into the Test side, the core of the Test side for the next 2 years in this World Test Championship?
Well, I'm very much looking forward to the Test match series coming back. The personnel of our Test side is pretty different to our limited over side. I think the only sort of mainstays are actually in both formats are Kohli and Jasprit Bumrah. I think besides that, there's a lot of specialists we have coming back into the Test team. Obviously, we've got the likes of Pujara, Rahane. You've got the spinners Ashwin, Jadeja, who don't get as much of a look in limited overs. And you've got Ishant Sharma and Mohammad Shami to support Bumrah on the bowling side. I think when you're talking about who's going to be the key players in the next few years in this cycle of the Test Championship, I reckon Jasprit Bumrah is going to be really important leading our bowling attack, supported by the other 2 seamers Ishant and Shami. I think they've been such an important facet of what's made India rise to the top of the Test game in the last few years, is the fact that we've got a potent pace attack that can take wickets all around the world. So I think those 3 are going to be very important, and I think Kohli and Pujara are going to be the heartbeat of our batting order, who are going to probably carry us through on that side of things.
Okay. In terms of selection around the mainstays, the guarantees, the 100%. There are a few options, I'd say.
Question marks as well.
First of all, opening partnership. We saw a glimpse of BATV Shaw. You were spoken about him earlier on, but he looked a really, really good test batsman, exciting prospect until his injury in the Australia series, and obviously now the ban as well. So he's not available for this series, but you'd like to think going forward he'll be a mainstay. Mayank Agarwal got introduced during the Australia series, got flown out and was top class, had a really good IPL and looks like someone that's going to cement his place at the top of the order for the Test series. Right choice, Mayank, thoughts on him?
Yeah, I think when he came in, I think he got 2 50s in 3 innings. Once again, partnerships are so important. I can't emphasise the benefit of having someone who can come in, stay there, play a good Test game, and support the likes of Kohli, Pujara. Pujara has just been fantastic over the last few years, absolutely fantastic. Not sure why he wasn't picked in the first Test against England last year. Came back, showed what character he is. And I think, just building on 3-4, there's a few question marks around Rahane at 5. I'm not sure if I'm a pro Rahane fan anymore. I think he's running out of time to step up. He had a good start to his career, and the last few years have just dipped. There's other people who can come in, or I'd rather give a chance to. And as a vice captain of the team, I think we need to have a bit more expectation. I know Kohli spoke about he still adds that level of composure, but I'm sure there's a few youngsters who we've discussed earlier today that once they're given a chance with the right attitude, they can contribute to that and take some of the pressure off. And
okay, well, on the point of Rahane then, there's sort of again mixed feelings about him, whether he should continue with his place in the Test side, if it's time to move on, or to he's the vice captain of the team, he's a senior member of the side. Do we stick with him? He's had sort of inconsistent last couple of years. Thoughts?
well, I've just given my thoughts.
Thoughts?
Well, I think this series has come at a good time. I think, no disrespect to the West Indies, but they're not the strongest Test playing nation, and I think our batting lineup is going to be well equipped to deal with it. So I think in terms of that number 5 spot, whoever is going to be batting there, it's probably going to be given a chance, and even if they come off or don't come off, I don't think it's going to affect the result. But having said that, I think Rahane deserves a bit of a run, and I know he's had ups and downs in the last couple of years, in the Test arena, but and you've got people knocking on the door. The likes of Iyer and Gill are also going to be knocking on the door to get in that Test side. You've got Rohit Sharma, who has also been talked about as coming back in to the Test side, although he's not lit the Test arena on fire in his career at all. But again, he could also come in at number 6. But I think Rahane hasn't done enough to justify dropping him. Some people have talked about he's been batting a bit slowly, he's been a bit out of nick away from home, but he's got a ton of experience, and I reckon he's a solid Test cricketer, and he's shown that enough throughout his career. I don't see any reason why we should drop him for this series, and we'll see how he goes against West Indies, and if he has a complete shocker, then maybe we'll have a reassessment.
How do you define a complete shocker? Because you're saying the West Indies tours come at a good time.
Yeah.
Unless he gets a couple of hundreds. I
Well,
know.
he might well do.
If he does, fantastic. Yeah, but. Unless he gets a couple of hundreds, I'd rather someone else be given a chance at number 5. I don't think India are going to test someone else out at 5 this series. Rahane will be given it.
Well, my issue is then, I think chopping and changing is not the way to go. So if you're saying if you drop him now, that's it, that's the end of his Test career. For me, I just think he's got a bit more to give. And I might be proved wrong.
I hope he does perform, but since 2017, I think he's got 100, or since his last 100, he's got 550s, and that was 2-3 years ago. And for a vice captain or our number 5, that's we have to have more expectation. And I appreciate partnerships are vital, and he can definitely contribute in that sense. But getting a 30-40 is nowhere near enough.
Yeah, well, he's a test specialist, right?
Yeah.
And I guess if he doesn't play, if it's time to move on from Rahane, then you bring in Rohit Sharma into the side. Surprise pick for some, not for others.
Yeah.
As you said, he hasn't lit the test arena on fire, but he's in the form of his career in limited overs. Is he the right man for Test cricket? What are your thoughts on him? Can he transfer his runs that he scores in limited overs to Test cricket? Has he got the technique against the moving ball? He won't be opening the innings. It will be a middle order place. What are your thoughts on Rohit Sharma? Is he the man can he reignite his Test career?
I think he's definitely got something to offer. There's definitely transferable skills. The change in the batting order, I'm not sure that's going to be too much of an impact. He started off as a middle order batsman. That I think is fine. I think how much he can offer the Test team going forward is a question, as you rightly so mentioned. But I would give him a chance, and I think he can bring a lot to the table. Like as a number 5, number 6, he can score at a good rate, work with our lower order, and he's got the potential to score those big runs. Like when was the last time we had a number 5, 6 who got a big 100? I actually don't remember. Whereas I think Rohit Sharma can offer that.
Okay, so do you think maybe if Rohit Sharma is given the nod and he does well, it sort of papers over the cracks the fact that we've got a West Indies series, fairly similar conditions to home, and you've got 2 home series. I think Rohit Sharma's issues over the years has been the moving ball, away from home, bouncy pitches. Do you think if he was to do well over the next few series, that he'll be a mainstay in the side and he'll be exposed in the away series next year?
Well, if he does well, then there's no reason to drop him, even if it is home and away. He needs to be given a chance. And Rohit Sharma is someone who we all wonder why he's not been able to deliver in Test match cricket. And it maybe is just worth exploring one more time. He's not he's got still a few years left in his career. Whether he can grab that spot in the middle order, which is we've got a bit of a question mark over, whether it's at 5 and we have a youngster in Vihari coming in at 6, or whether we bat with Rahane at 5 and Rohit Sharma at 6. Both are viable options, and we know how good of a batsman he is. He's not been able to pull it off before, like you said, because he's had a few issues with his technique, but he's in the form of his life right now. I think it'd be a welcome addition to the middle order in the Test team.
And just on the point you made about home series against away series, I guess that's the benefit of the new format for Tests, right? Because whether it's home or away, those points still count, and they're still going towards us making it to that game in Lords. So even if he does fire up a few Tests at home, I'll take it. That's the benefit of this new format, because it's leading up to something, as opposed to an ad hoc series there, with not as much meaning.
Fair point. Okay, that we'll find out in due course on Thursday who gets the nod. Could be both, could be just one or the other. But it brings me on to number 6, Hanuman Vihari. First had a look at him in England. Looked, solid player under pressure in a series where lots of batsmen were failing. He looked in his own. He's done well since then. Played well for India A. Would it be fair to say that he should 100% get his side? It's unfair to drop a player like that. For me, he's one to continue in the side ongoing. A long-term solution for that lower middle order. Is he a shoo-in for you guys?
I think it would be very harsh to drop him after the start he's had to his Test career. Domestically also he's done really, really well. It looks as if we've sort of got three players, Rahane, Rohit and Vihari, who are all after 2 spots in 5 and 6. Me personally, whatever combination is picked, I probably won't have too much of an issue with it. However, I think it will be very harsh to drop Vihari, and I think he'll be someone who should be there for the long term. Rohit and Rahane, one of them, maybe even both of them, potentially won't last for more than a year or so. I'm a fan of what I've seen of Vihari so far. He bowls a bit of handy off spin as well. He's the type of batsman that's shown he's got a good temperament, which is in Test cricket you need that. So I'm a fan of his.
Okay, fine. And then finally, well not finally, but the talking point about the wicket keeper. You've obviously got Rishabh Pant
Yeah.
and the return of Wriddhiman Saha back from injury. I do feel quite sorry for Saha in the sense that when he was playing second fiddle to MS Dhoni, he was sort of waiting for his opportunity to arise. MS Dhoni then retired and his opportunity arose, but sadly he had a long-term injury. He's now recovered from his injury, and there's a new kid on the block, Rishabh Pant. I know we've spoken extensively about him already in the limited overs, but what are your thoughts on Rishabh Pant or Wriddhiman Saha in the Test side?
So, Pant, he came to England. He did fantastic, right? He played some very crucial innings. He showed a good fight in England and Australia, two tough opponents. I think the reason why he's actually flourished in Test matches is because, similar to Sehwag, right? You can miss a ball, you forget about it, you move on. Whereas it's not the same in one day. So he's averaging 50 at the moment, and I wouldn't have expected that from a player who plays in the manner he plays. I'd back one for the future. He's not given us a reason. Like, you can't drop someone who's averaging 50, simple as.
I'll be surprised if he gets dropped. Although for me, more so in Test cricket than limited overs, despite what the numbers may or may not tell us. There's still a question mark with his temperament for me. And I think that's more likely to get exposed more in Test cricket than one-day cricket. Obviously, limited overs, you've only got so long to bat. And we've got guys that will come in and make up the score potentially. Whereas in Test match cricket, it's a different kettle of fish. So yeah, I think Saha's still probably the best gloveman in India. I think he's proven that over a long while. Whereas Rishabh Pant's still young and he's got work to do on that side of his game. But yeah, for me, there's a question mark over him. And yeah, Saha was very, very unfortunate in terms of the timing of his injury. I personally don't see Saha getting back in, but yeah, if you play it, I don't think it would be bad for the side.
Fine.
What are your thoughts?
Well, for me, it's Rishabh Pant. He's proved that he's got something to offer in the Test arena. Finally, before we move on to the bowlers, very, very quick discussion about KL Rahul. Do you guys feel he's got a sort of a short shelf life in the sense that he'll be opening the innings, no doubt, with Mayank Agarwal for this series, but eventually Shaw will come in and replace him, and he'll be a backup opener in the side, and he doesn't have another position he can bat in the team? What are your thoughts?
I think that's probably fair to say. He's a very talented player. We all know, what he's capable of. He's shown us over the last 2 years in international cricket. He's definitely got something to offer. For me, more in limited overs. I think in the last 12 months he's found it a bit difficult in Test cricket. He has been exposed in terms of his technique at the top of the order, especially away from home against the moving ball. Yeah, he's found it tough. In this series I think he's a capable stand-in for Prithvi Shaw. He might have some chemistry with Mayank Agarwal. They're very good friends off the field. That might help him. But I think as soon as Shaw's available to come back, for me, he slots back in, and KL sort of moves into like a squad position as a backup opener. And when injuries or form down the line may affect us, then yeah, he might get another go.
Fine. Swiftly moving on then to the bowlers. Pretty self-explanatory, I would say. You've got the three seamers in Ishant Sharma, Jasprit Bumrah and Mohammad Shami. Served us well over the last couple of years. For me, the best bowling unit that we've had in a couple of decades.
I'd agree, definitely.
It's top class, and it's exciting to watch. We, back in the day we had just Zahir Khan leading, spearheading the attack, and sort of frailties throughout. Now we've got three top quality seam bowlers. I think the main discussion point here is the spinner as such. Do you play the specialist in Ashwin or Jadeja with his fielding? For me, again, it has to be Ashwin. Right arm off spin, but a quality batsman as well. And he served the nation very, very well in Test cricket. And for me, he's more of a Test bowler with more variations than someone like Jadeja.
I'd agree with you. He's got over 300 Test wickets. I respect him, immensely as a Test bowler, what he's done for India. and like you said, he can, he's more than capable with the bat as well, and has potentially even been a bit more reliable with the bat than Jadeja. Although, to be honest, at number 8,
Jadeja has, like, when he's been called upon in the test team in the last 12 months or 18 months, he's done well from a batting point of view. He's done really well.
True. I think for me, I think batting will be very, very secondary, and I think it's got to be about what this player can offer to the bowling attack, and I'd go with Ashwin. I mean, he's proved it over such a long period of time. Yeah, okay, fine. He had an off-test match against England in Southampton, which I know a few people were disappointed about. For one session, yeah, he bowled, some questionable lines. But besides that, bless you, Amish. Besides that, yeah, man, look at his record. It's phenomenal. Frontline spinner. He's played some county cricket in England. He's gone away, played for Worcestershire, I think it is, and he's done pretty well. He's obviously working on his craft. I think in one-day format, yeah, that's pretty much put to bed now, and he'll be focusing very much on the 5-day game.
Yeah.
And I would definitely stick with him.
I think it's harsh, right? Like on either one of them.
Yeah.
Because Jadeja's done. I'm a big fan of Jadeja. What he adds to the team's 3D player, and I guess playing one spinner. And I'm not suggesting we drop one of the bowlers, right? But my problem is our tail is so long, and if you look at the other strong test teams, their lower order, their tail can bat. We've got a long tail, so after 9, I'm not expecting anything, and therefore I do think there is more pressure on the likes of Jadeja, Bharat, or whoever's batting above, or Ashwin, to come in, and it's not just about what they can add from a bowling point of view. Batting does matter. I'd probably say that's one of the reasons why we lost against England last year.
But whoever you pick between Jadeja and Ashwin, both of them can bat.
They're
both
bat.
top quality bat. They're both all rounders essentially in the test arena.
Yeah.
And you're never going to have our 3 seamers turn into all rounders. None of those guys can bat.
That's the big. So, do you know what, with West Indies, I don't think it's going to be too much of an issue. Touch wood there, but when we're playing some of the bigger teams in the next year or so, I think that is going to be a worry for us. Like, that is an area which we do need to develop upon going forward. Now look at England; they bat up to 10. They bat up to 10, where we can't say we do that, and we've got questions over our middle order, let alone our lower order. But yeah, you're right. Either one can bat. I think. Yeah, Ashwin's experienced enough. Kind of missed the days where we relied on 2 spinners, to be honest. The bowling good can.
Well, it's a good point you make, because we've been discussing a 7-bat, 4-bowler strategy, 3 seamers, 1 spinner. Is there any argument to say play an extra bowler, play an extra spinner, or maybe 2 seamers, 2 spinners? Could we see India do a different combination to what we've spoken about?
There's an argument that they could well do it. I personally still see them sticking with 3 seamers. I think that's probably the way to go. Obviously, when we're back in the subcontinent, and I think we've got Bangladesh coming up as part of the sort of home series in the next few series, and yeah, we'll revert to 2 spinners there most likely, and then both of them will play.
Yeah. At the expense of who?
Well, that will probably. Well, to be honest, again, without the risk of sounding arrogant, I think it doesn't really matter who we don't. I think whether it's Ishant and Shami that play, or Ishant and Bumrah, or Shami and Bumrah, I think it's we'll be fine. Interchangeable. I think they're all strong enough. But so again, it'll probably be managing workloads. Maybe give Bumrah a rest.
Yeah.
But I think now we'll probably stick with 3 seamers, and I personally go with Ashwin. But again, what luxury we have is that we do have options, and it's one of those situations where I don't think there's going to be a major outcry, either way. But there's positive and negative for each of those 2 players playing.
Fine. Finally, predictions for the series. 2-match series.
2-0.
2-0. I'm expecting quite a straightforward.
Yeah, I think I'm also going for the 2-0 as well. So call us biased Indian fans, but we're hoping for a clean sweep, 120 points in the bag to get on our way to that final at Lords. Okay, guys, that's all from us today. Please make sure you comment on your thoughts, whether you agree with us, whether you disagree, what you liked about the podcast, what you didn't like about it. Give us your feedback. Get a debate going. Make sure you like, subscribe, share, tag your friends. Rohit, Rahane, Jadeja, Ashwin, let us know what you think. We'll catch you for a post-match review and a post-series review of the India-West Indies series, and let's see if our predictions are correct. Come on, India.
Come on, India.